However many viewers we got left, pay attention. This is what actual writing looks like. It's not all that fun and whatnot. It's all pain and suffering, especially when you can't do as much as you want to.
Until you're actually finished writing, then you actually take some satisfaction in it. Until you remind yourself that you're not actually finished with your story and have to keep going, then
that means more headaches and more coffee and Xanax and whatnot.
And alcohol.
I wasn't going to encourage the use of such things, but if they aid the creative process...
Immediately put down a disclaimer: do not do drugs or alcohol, kids. Or adults. Or pets.
And
Whoa.
I have officially finished my drink.
Well, now that you're all good and energized, why don't you perform for us?
Perform? What would you like me to perform, huh?
Tequila.
Tell us about those stories you're working on.
Oh, okay. Which one do you want to know about? The obvious, the one we're talking about, one of my RWBY stories, or...
Well, this is a RWBY fan fiction podcast, so let's go with a RWBY story.
You sound very
okay.
happy, so which story makes you happiest?
Shit, man. That is Scorpio, there's Lunatic, shit. Which one do I want to talk about the most? Oh, fuck.
Can you actually think straight?
That's a good question. Do any of us think straight? Let's be honest here.
I don't think any of us is thinking straight. Okay, so, okay. With what little sobriety I have left in me, which one do you want to hear about the most, Scorpio or Lunatic?
Tell me about Lunatic. I keep forgetting to read it, but what can you tell me about it?
Of course you keep forgetting.
Hey, I'm sorry. Life gets in the way, and I can't even use the old excuse because I'm not even 21 yet. So what am I talking about? Freaking amnesia.
Well, yeah, I know how you feel, actually. Like, life and work gets in the way all the time. God damn it. Can't have any fun nowadays.
I feel like you are being truthful, but at the same time, I feel like there's a hint of sarcasm in there somewhere.
There's a little bit of both.
Let's just blame it on the wine or whatever you're drinking.
It's alcohol, actually. A delicious apple red cider. Okay,
I'm sorry, yes I do.
Back on topic now. You want to know more about Lunatic? Okay, I'll teach you a little bit. All
right, go for it, you lunatic.
Yes. Okay. So in Lunatic, I'm focused on 4 main characters. There's Loki Green, Ramasha Hex, and there's Torg Hammett, and there's Senior Kaneko. Genital, you remember her from the OC podcast. You remember these guys? Genital?
Wait, what?
Oh. You remember, hang on. Okay. So you remember in our last podcast we were talking about OCs, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And you remember me talking about the boys in Lunatic, right?
Yep.
Okay, so which one do you want to hear about first?
Let's talk. What was his name? Loki? Is that what his name was?
Loki Green. Loki Green, yeah. Okay. This one's a bit of an easy one. Loki Green, the boy raised in Vale, was a childhood friend to Ruby and Yang. His father, Odin, was a huntsman from Beacon, and his father said, "Now, son, one day, you're going to go Beacon one day." And he helped Loki train and helped him design his weapons, Polydeuces and Castor, a pair of pistols that can turn into katanas. Sadly, by the time Loki was 11, his home was burned down by a character I've made, the Man on Fire, also known as Flamefell. Oh, his father was killed. His father's spear was taken, and Loki was left with nothing. And Raven, having promised Odin that she'd look after him, took him in and helped train him after a few years. But after several raids, Loki had a experience with his PTSD during one of the raids, and he had enough. So he packed his bags and said, "Fuck you, Raven, I'm out."
I like this kid already.
I mean, I'm finding it interesting that the one time Raven actually is a good parent, her child turns on her anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, Loki leaves the tribe, goes to the city of Vale, saves Tuxin from Emerald and Mercury, and is met with one of my other OCs, Sting. And Sting's like, "Hey kid, wanna go to Beacon?" And Loki's like, "Sure, why not?"
That would be my reaction, absolutely.
All right, question. Does Sting play guitar?
Maybe. Why?
You know exactly why I'm asking.
Maybe. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Why would you ask that?
Because it's a totally valid question.
Are you wondering if he's inspired by anyone from Kiss?
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear you say that.
Oh, what is going on here?
Okay. Oh, no. Anyways, Loki asked you... What?
I'm just mumbling to myself. I'm saying I'm about to smack myself with my own microphone.
I'm sorry. You're the one who asked.
But did you seriously say, are you asking about somebody from Kiss? Oh my god.
Well, why did you ask?
Have you seriously never heard of Sting? He's a British guitar player and singer. He used to be part of a band called The Police.
Well,
That's why
I think I know what you're talking about, but Sting's not based on that guitar guy.
Well, yeah, I know. I was making a joke when I asked if he played guitar.
Okay, fair enough. My bad. I apologize.
I know.
I'll listen. What?
Hmm?
What were you saying?
Oh, I wasn't. I was just laughing.
Oh, I thought Genital was going to say something. Anyways, no, Sting isn't based on the guitarist. He's actually based off of a wrestler called Sting.
Neat.
Yeah, I think this might be before Luna's time, since it was the mid-late 90s.
Hey, just because I was born in the late 90s doesn't mean, I don't know anything about the 80s or, stuff before my time, as you put it.
Professional wrestling, do you recall such a time? When there wasn't just one monolithic company in the United States?
No, I don't watch professional wrestling, so...
That's a terrible shame. You're really missing out.
I sometimes do.
Hey, look, it's not affecting me in any way. I feel fine.
Okay, back on topic to Loki, boy. Back to Loki. As you can obviously tell, well, he's based off of, Loki. He's the god of mischief from Norse mythology, and his semblance, the trick allows him to create illusions of himself to trick his opponent. Speaking of tricking his opponents, even during combat, he tends to lie and taunt his opponents into making the wrong move, and he uses that to his advantage. And as a trickster, he loves to pull pranks, especially on Yang. Twice now in my story, once he mentioned how he changed Yang's hair color to green.
Oh shit!
And while in Beacon, he did it again. Yang does not take kindly to that. And in my story, Crow was like, "Loki, why do you do this to yourself?" And Loki simply replies with, "Because I'm a troll."
I like this guy already.
Yeah, anyways. Who do you want to hear about next, or do you have any more questions?
Nothing from me. What about you guys?
Huh? What?
I said nothing from me. What about you guys?
What the hell is that?
What is that noise?
What noise?
Sounds like a really bad tapping.
Sounded like a bumblebee buzzing around. Or a mosquito, or...
Is it gone?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gone.
Sorry about that. I moved my microphone near my monitor for a second.
Fascinating.
I'd make a joke about that, but I won't. I'm slowly
But you're the
starting
funny
to
one.
sober.
By all means, make a joke.
Well,
He's
that would
the
require
drunk
me to
one.
be I'm slowly starting to sober up, but if you want me to be the drunk one, I have to get another drink.
Are you at home?
Yes,
Do you plan on going anywhere at all tonight?
No.
All right, drink. All right, go ahead, drink away then.
I have to go to the fridge downstairs and get one.
No, I see his dilemma.
Yeah,
Oh no, walking.
And in this state, it's not going down the stairs; it's falling down the stairs.
I'm not that drunk, okay?
You
Would you
say
like to
that,
elaborate further on your stories to once again forcefully ram us to topic?
Yes, the drink can wait, all right? Anyways, do you have any more questions about Loki, or do you want to hear about one of my other OCs of Lunatic?
I mean, it certainly sounds like Loki will be the interesting character. I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, too, that his story
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. But by all means, continue. Tell our new listeners that we've apparently gained since the last time about the rest of the team. Well, originally we only had one Twitch viewer.
Last I heard, we had 3.
Okay, so the next 3 are Nanasha Hex from Vacuo, Turk Amit from Atlas, and Seymour Kanikos from this. Who do you want to hear about now?
Go with Atlas.
Yeah.
Turk?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see. Growing up in Atlas and being a faunist, Turek was raised by a trader family, a family of traders, merchants who would. I'm not that much of an expert on business, but they handled business with shops, investments, and stuff. But my boy Turek, he writes stories, and I mentioned this in the last podcast that we did. That did not include Luna, but I mentioned that he also writes books. One of them was a book called The Crimes of the White Fang, talking about the things that the Fang has done and questioning whether they are revolutionaries or terrorists, basically, and having some witness accounts or people who were affected by the White Fang's actions. And he has 2 brothers, the older one who handles some of the business investments, and a younger brother who, so basically, here's the thing. Tariq and his older brother are both fox faunists, but their younger brother is actually a turtle faunist that they found in one of the tunnels they were excavating, that their dad was having an expedition into. The younger brother, assuming he was abandoned, they took him in and treated him as their own sibling. And Turk has a crossbow, a repeater crossbow, that he casually named Angelina. And after some running with White Fang wannabes and Atlas in one of the settlements, he meets up with another one of my OCs, Nathaniel Prado, whose name I changed from Patrick Cormack to Nathaniel Prado, and as well as Winter and Penny, and they took down the wannabe White Fang wannabes, and he was and Nathaniel was like, "Listen, Osborne sent us to find you. You want to become a huntsman?" And Turk was like, "Yeah, sure. It'd be interesting to make a story out of this."
Your characters certainly seem to have the same reaction to being offered a position. Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, he has a ring of informant that gathers information in the kingdoms. And he's loosely based off of Varric Tetris from Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. Varric's always been my favorite character in those games. Not sure if you've at least heard of him. By the silence, I assume you haven't.
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's fine. But anyways, yeah. I'm also writing a little bit of I'm going to attempt to write a bit of a possible romance ship between him and Penny soon, later on down the line.
Penny romances certainly have a lot of interesting narrative potential, so
yeah.
I cannot wait to see how slow and plodding that is.
Yeah, I can't wait to progress that one. Anyways, do you have any more questions about Turek, or do you want to move on to the next number?
Keep this train going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you want to move on to, okay. So you want to move on to the next number?
Sure.
Okay. So all we have left are Nernasha Hex from Vacuo and Senior Kanikos of Mistral.
Let's do the Vecchio one.
Okay, Nernasha Hex. Nernasha is certainly in my opinion, one of my favorite characters to write in Lunatic. Aside from his older brother, his mother adopted three other her siblings, all younger than him, and he and his siblings formed a group called the Horsemen of the Desert, riding around stopping grim swarms from devouring settlements, basically, and they all have semblances that make them the stuff of nightmares, basically. Nernasha can call forth spirits and bring forth the dead. It's given that he's based off of Darksiders 2 Death, and after the older brother disappeared on a mission, Nernasha took charge. However, the civilians, the people of Vacuo, were growing more and more fearful of Nernasha because of the power of the semblance he has. And so, eventually, another OC of mine, a total dickhead, he used the fear of the people to have Nernasha vanish. And during his walk in the desert, Nernasha encountered a desert demon, a giant sandworm from Grimm. And he tried to hold him, trying to survive while this desert demon was trying to swallow him whole. And then, before the desert demon could try to eat him, Crow and another one of my OCs, Corina, also, with some help from, I also had help creating more things for Corina, thanks to Ms. Sater.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, those two, Crow and Corina, killed the desert demon. By that I mean Corina jumped into its maw and snapped its neck. And they gave Nernasha the same offer. And Nernasha was like, well, perhaps this is fate. Perhaps I could do more good. Good again. And he's like, I accept.
So this one is a little bit more definitive. It isn't just, sure, why not? This one is more determined to be a huntsman.
Yeah, he wants to do good with the semblance, whether the people acknowledge him as a hero or a monster, whether they love him or fear him. So, do you have any other questions, or shall I move on to scenic?
The last one to go. Go right ahead.
All right. Whew. I think Genital WarThunder mentioned Viking scenic in the last podcast, didn't he?
Who?
Wait, what was the question?
I think we're moving on to scenic now. So scenic Nikos. Obviously, he's the younger twin to Fira Nikos. He's a bit taller than her, and they share the same semblance. And he was the strongest of the two. But the two had a really close bond. You know how siblings would all have that bond. We'll always be there for each other. Nothing could get between us. But eventually, something did. What?
Sounds like some awesome siblings, because it's not like that with me and my sister.
Me and my brother don't have that.
Anyways, Pyrrha and Cedric's dad, I was like, "Hey, Pyrrha, I got you a present. What's that called? When you get accepted into a school, what's it called?
Acceptance.
Acceptance into Beacon." And Cedric tried to be the good big brother, like, "Hey, good job, sis. But Dad, can I get one too?" And but Dad's like, "No, you got to earn it." And Cedric's like, "But I have earned it. I've had earned it before back in Sanctum."
I was going to say, isn't Pyrrha like a 4-time regional champion? So wouldn't schools be beating down her door to recruit her?
Yeah. But given that Cedric did, in fact, work his butt off up to get his accomplishments, he felt cheated. You know what I mean? He felt like he deserves that more, just as much as Pyrrha, if not more. So he challenged her to a fight, and in the end, it resulted in Pyrrha cutting off Cedric's arm. And Cedric was disowned by his father, but his mother did try to reach out to him, but Cedric kept pushing away. The pain of feeling basically betrayed by his siblings when they assured that they would go through this together. We'd be huntsmen together. This is our dream, right? And of course, but Cedric, of course, shut them out. And eventually, his mother got him a cybernetic arm and to replace the one he lost. But there are sometimes he experiences that phantom pain. And then one day he was met by another one of my OCs. It was like your mother told me how hard you worked for this. So, you want to come to Beacon and become a huntsman you wanted to be? And Cedric was like, perhaps I could finally prove that I earned that place. Perhaps I could finally prove that I am the strongest Nikos.
It's good to have a different motivation for him compared to the others. Feels a little bit more personal, a little bit more selfish, which is good.
Yeah, I tried to. So Cedric was like, I accept, but first I must take it back to Mother. Let's say, Father, up yours. Because I'm becoming a huntsman, whether you want me to or not. And I'm going to prove that I'm the strongest in this family. You will accept that. So yeah. That's Cedric Nikos.
All right. So where are you currently in this story? What's going on in the most recent chapter?
Okay, so we've already got past the, we started off after Volume 1, at the beginning of Volume 2. We've gotten past the lunchroom brawl. And of course the lunatic had some problems cooperating, got their asses handed to them by coffee. And Cedric was like, Loki, you suck at being a leader. And Loki's like, hey, I'm not the one who rushed in head first. And Stewart's like, you might have been chosen to be leader, but you're still nothing but a trickster. Don't let it get you into trouble, boy. So that soured things for a while. Also, Lunatic was put through a survival exercise, where they were launched into the Emerald Forest to retrieve a relic. To retrieve a relic, and they had to fight the senior huntsman and Scorpio, a team of OCs of mine. And they were getting their asses handed to them, but then they finally managed to hold themselves together and work together, and they took out Nathaniel, Oliver, and Corina, and they're now going to face Sting. And Sting, he has a bit of an ace up his sleeve. He's like, boys, the majority of this fight I've been going easy on you. Now, takes off his sunglasses, reveals a pair of silver eyes, and goes, now I get serious. And I've made some slight, hope you don't mind, but I've made some slight changes to the silver eye thing in my story. Hope you don't mind. With making it other than just a anti-grim or magic weapon. And it actually boosts the silver-eyed warrior's fighting abilities. And with this, things kicking their ass. And then they were able to, and then they noticed that a weak spot with using that power. It does exhaust them with prolonged usage. So, using their ultimate four-way team attack, they smack Sting around, finish them off, and they retrieve the relic, which turns out to be a Joker playing card. And you know how the Joker playing card is resembles like a wild card. You know what you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to resemble infinite possibilities. Is a team in Osmond's eyes, Lunatic is a team that can be capable of pretty much almost anything that they put their minds to. And so, Lunatic has officially been welcomed into Beacon. And moving on from that, we move on to the investigation arc where they looked into the White Fang only to run into some trouble. With RWBY and Loki, they ran into the one responsible for Summer's death, Judas Blackbird, another OC of mine, who happens to be a silver-eyed warrior, but his eyes also seem to be more black or darker than RWBY's. So dark they could be mistaken for black. Like a sort of a tainted silver-eyed warrior, if you will.
So it's like there should be some interesting lore to that.
Yeah. I've also worked on a bit of a history for the Silver-Eyed Warriors and how they came about, which we'll get to in a bit.
Okay.
And after the investigation arc, after Raven and Crow pulled their asses out of the fire, I introduced some more OCs that serve as the villains. One of them is Hanukkah Midori, who is he's inspired by Hazama from Blaze Blue. You guys know what Blaze Blue is?
Yeah, it's a pretty popular video game series.
I haven't played it.
Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've heard good things about it.
Oh yeah, and the Hazama, it definitely had, and the Hanukkah was definitely inspired by Hazama in several ways. He may seem harmless and he may seem like a desk worker, but he's actually pretty sadistic, cruel, and willing to step on anyone's heads just to get what he wants.
Okay.
Sorry, Roman. Anyways, there's also Asterion, Alethros Asterion, inspired by Bane, came from the Batman series.
Mhm.
And he's going to be serving as an antagonist for Yang later on down the line. And he's not just going to, and he's not going to kind of cut off her arm. Oh no, he's going to break her spine.
That sounds familiar, like a reference to something in the before time, before Luna existed.
Yeah, probably.
Back in the year 500 BL, before Luna.
Yeah, it's before when Luna was still an uncultured swine. Anyways,
When?
I know you can't. I know you can't see it, but I'm glaring at all of you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there's this little
continue.
option called show video.
You know, there's this little option called "quit drinking." You drunk.
There's also this little option of go fuck yourself.
You guys having fun? Are you done? Can you move on to the story talking?
Yeah, shall I get back to my topic? Shall I continue?
You know, for that, I should just zone out.
Oh, that's cruel.
Okay. So shall I continue or no?
Yes, go.
Yes, continue.
Okay. I'm almost done. Don't worry. There's and so far, I'm working on the 20th chapter. The topic is regret. With Crow regretting not saving Ruby's mom, and Loki, feeling the regret of being so helpless and not doing anything about his dad dying. There's probably some more stuff in there. I'm still working some things out, and they're having them go on the mission to Mountain Glen before the dance, which was pushed back. Any comments on that?
No, I mean, I'm curious to see where this prospect of characters still alive could go. I'm curious about the Silver Eyes, but other than that.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of ideas for this. You don't even know how many ideas I have.
I mean, if you're writing fan fiction, you've got to have at least a couple of them.
I have so many ideas, you can't even possibly fathom the ideas I have swarming around in my head.
It's like a swarm of angry wasps. They just don't go away or shut up.
Yes, exactly. They want to be released.
Okay, let us move swiftly on from the madness consuming one of our colleagues. Luna, let's talk about your stories for a bit.
In the meantime, I'm getting another drink.
Well, the big one that I have planned hasn't been fully fleshed out or even written yet, so I really don't know what all I could say. What do you want to know?
Tell us about the characters and the general outline of the plot.
Well, if you're a seasoned RWBY fan, then you already know a majority of the characters. I'm not really using any OCs yet.
Not even the little daughter?
Oh, she'll come later on.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done much with Angel recently, but shoot, where was I going with this?
Well, I mean, what do Yang and Mercury do before we get to the point of the, bonding?
Alrighty, so mainly what my story is doing is that, so you know how even in early chapters, we had a couple of, major time skips between scenes and whatnot, so, off the top of my head, what my story is going to start out as, it's going to be mostly filler chapters with, scenes that might have happened off screen to help, flesh out the story before we start getting into the big stuff and then the bonding and whatnot.
Okay.
And then a lot of the stuff involving Salem is something that's going to take up the majority of my time and thinking. So that's giving me a headache.
All right.
Right back.
Well, is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, like I said, that depends on what all you like. Do y'all have any specific questions?
No, I don't want to spoil how we get there is the thing, because how the romance progresses and how that relates to the plot are all going to be things you want the reader to experience for the first time.
Well, I will say that it will be a slow burn, so don't expect anything quick to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to keep like the buildup of their relationship as natural as possible. So, I mean, I do plan for this to eventually be a romance thing, but who knows? Maybe a month from now, I'm going to decide. You know what? Maybe they are better off as friends, and just
And the daughter
leave it
just
at that.
comes along anyway.
Who knows? Or maybe that's just going to be an alternate universe thing. I mean,
One night stand.
to be fair, the 2 one-shots that I have right now, I'm probably going to end up labeling them as alternative universes anyway, because whatever past events that I might have mentioned in either of those stories, I've since changed my ideas since I wrote those stories. So then they're technically not canon to the series that I'm going to have written.
Okay. That's important to know. That's a good detail for us to keep in mind.
Yeah. So sadly, no, they did not defeat Salem by having Ruby use her, how did I word it? Laser beam eyeballs?
I mean,
Technically, that's how
that
she
seems to be a lot
worded
of
it.
people's go-to is Ruby blast the Grim out of her, and that wins somehow.
Yeah, I got my own theories about how they beat Salem, but I don't know. I'm still going back and forth on all of it.
All right. Yes, then I will enter into the ring and discuss my matters. So, quick summarization of events. One and the same I've been working on since May of this year. I recently finished chapter 18, in which time our heroes finally regrouped after convincing Ironwood to give them control of their scrolls again so they could communicate with each other. Watts was defeated by Penny a few chapters earlier. So now what stands between our heroes and Salem is Adam and his massive army of robots, and Hazel, who was going back and forth about whether or not he wanted to go along with Salem's plan, considering the possibility that all life could cease to exist once she actively changes history. Salem has been in the process of torturing Raven in order to force her to open a portal into the past, using Raven's kindred link semblance to connect with the extant aura of her distant children. Now that this is about to happen, Salem is sending the Grim onto the good guys, Hazel has to make his choice, and Blake desperately appeals to Adam so they don't have to kill him in order to gain control of his army. What will happen? Well, I can pretty much guarantee that shit has gone down. In my other story, A Good Boy, which is a little bit more grounded and focused, Oscar and Yang finally did some things together.
Interesting.
I'm already assuming things.
I'm sure you are. A Good Boy is my only M-rated story, so it's a little bit more detailed than my romances tend to be.
Team orgy here.
I mean, we're
sweet
not,
Jesus
we're not
almighty,
to that,
not that joke again.
We're not to that point yet. The thing about even my harem stories, I try and make them plausible, so we're not going to just suddenly have Oscar turn into a super stud. That's just definitely not his character at all. That's not who he is.
No.
He's just a humble little farm boy.
And that is his appeal.
He's more like he's a random little farm boy. What is that?
To be honest, though, I don't know how interested he would be, especially after suddenly getting a mouthful of Yang's hair.
There it is again.
I mean, I like Yang. I think she's all right.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, but, like, as someone who has ridden on the back of motorcycles before with people with long hair and gotten mouthfuls of it, like, I feel his pain.
You just got to focus on the waist you're holding on to instead.
How do you focus on the waist when all you're tasting is cheap
Hairball.
shampoo and whatnot?
Does she even have shampoo at this point? This has never been elaborated on.
When
what is in the house at Haven? What do they have to work with?
When was the last time she showered? Or bathed?
Well, given the fact that they're on Atlas, I'm pretty sure they had plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, now they're in Atlas. The current state of the story, though, is when they're at the house in Mistral, which I assume has a bathroom somewhere, but, we'll never see it, so we just have to work with what we've got.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
true.
Now that I'm thinking about it, here is my question. So, they all arrive in Mistral with basically nothing. I'm pretty sure Weiss lost her luggage and stuff in that airship crash.
Or
And
at
then
least when she was kidnapped.
yeah, okay. So then they all arrive in Mistral with basically nothing. We have the battle at Haven, yada yada. And then suddenly we're getting on the train to go to Argus, and suddenly everybody has duffel bags. What the hell?
Well,
Big box
Ruby
and stuff.
and Ranger had like sleeping bags and backpacks, so
Well, yeah, that all makes sense. Where did Yang and Blake's stuff come from?
well apparently they went shopping because Weiss had new leggings between Volume 5 and Volume 6.
Maybe they pulled them out her ass.
That is a good explanation as any.
All right. Oh, but wait. Here is the biggest question of them all. What was in that gift bag that Ruby had in the first episode of Volume 6?
Well,
I
never
still
know.
want to know.
A fuck ton of cookies.
Wait, why would she give everybody cookies when she would most likely eat them herself?
No,
Well, she has to share with Yang. I mean, that goes without saying.
Oh yeah.
it was the magazine Yang was reading.
Oh, was it?
Oh.
Oh.
I didn't get that far. I'm still on volume 2.
I missed up. I missed. a bunch of stuff.
Wait, what?
Wait,
Buddy, buddy, you need to catch up.
Yeah, you
Well-
need to catch up.
Well, I know what happens. I know what happens already. I'm just thinking on. I'm on volume 2 right now because I'm using it to write out some of the stuff that happens in my story and just continue. Don't mind the
Dude,
drink.
I don't know what's gonna
Oh.
happen in Volume 8, but I'm so scared that I have like 3 different Zwys next to me just to be safe.
Somebody's wise.
Yeah, I got Tiny Zwy, I got Little Zwy, and then I got Big Zwy.
Is Tiny Zwy the little blind box one? Because, that was
Yes.
hard to find.
Yes.
When was the last time we saw Sly?
Ruby
Volume
Chibi.
4, I want
Oh.
to say. Volume 4 he was in
I
Patch.
miss Sly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time we
Where's my
saw
little
him was the
buddy?
Volume 4 finale.
Where's my little buddy?
He's with Ty. He's helping with the sunflowers in his garden and whatnot. He's being a good boy.
I want to see my good boy again.
I'm not gonna lie, I want to see him reunite with Oobleck and do that hot dog thing again.
I mean, it would be nice to catch up with Ty at Patch since Raven apparently went there in the Volume 5 finale and we haven't gone back since.
Oh yeah, I've been thinking on that recently, and as much as I would like for, like Ty and Raven to, join up with the rest of the crew and help out, alright. Assuming Ty talks some sense into her, I could probably see Raven going back, but I think Ty would probably still stay behind.
Raven can bring Zwei as long as he's there, I think.
Which is why I even like her though.
If Zwei likes her, then that'll convince the audience to like her.
Think about it.
maybe he just-
Let me look at how he reacts to Blake, who is a cat faunus. What's he gonna do with somebody who turns into a bird?
Chase them,
Bark
clearly.
at it. Or maybe bite her in the ass.
Or the tail feathers, whatever it is.
I mean, he likes Blake, so why wouldn't he like Raven?
Because
Well,
do you
'cause
not
she's
know
a
what
bitch.
dogs do to birds?
I know what cats do to
they
birds.
bite down on them and make a big fat mess.
And even if they don't find a live bird, they'll just roll on the corpse. Or maybe my
they
dog is
eat
just
'em.
weird.
Or maybe they eat them.
Yeah, I'm talking about you, you weirdo.
All right, I think that covers the stories on our end. GWT, you want to tell us a little bit more?
Please do.
What do you want to know?
So you've been working
Everything.
on 2 chapters of A Maiden Out of Time. When can we expect to see them on FF.net?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
so
biggest
far
question.
I've only read the first 2 chapters. When's the more coming out?
Yes, we just asked that.
Okay, I'm going to mute you because your drunken ramblings are.
I'm not that drunk.
Well, then calm down then.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Sit
I
down
have
and
calmed
breathe.
down. Okay, I'm good.
All right then.
Cool.
So, sorry about
When
that.
can we expect the next chapter?
Mhm.
When can we expect the next chapter? Chapter. Yes, that word. I can't English tonight.
Well, let's see. Is that editing it on my iPad? So I'll pull it up right now. No, mainly I was just trying to correct all the comments that you made, Gamer,
Mhm.
because it takes me a minute because let me go back to the messages you sent me. Yeah, I don't like I'm very OCD about it. So whenever I get like editing or comments, I try to correct it right there, and I try to make it perfect. So it's mainly the top one when you're talking about stage direction and the axis. It's like, I don't really know what to do for that. If like the other stuff, like with the hint of Nora, well, that one really wasn't a comment, but that's still good. The feeling of nostalgia, elaborating on that one's easy too. And then her trying to recreate her spear or Milo in the medieval realm is also pretty self-explanatory. It's just when you say she needs more stage direction in the axis, um, I don't know how to tackle that.
You were talking about when I say stage direction, I mean you need something in the descriptive text. What is Pyrrha feeling when she's talking to Axis Mundi? Not just his response to the dialogue bouncing back and forth, but also what she's thinking, how she's responding to him.
I'm just gonna screen share it real quick. Let's go down. What was it? Those are all the edits with him.
Ah, Coer, always nice to see you.
Yeah, I love Coer stuff.
All right, the axis. So, obviously, like I said, the chapter's done. I'm just trying to polish all the comments.
So we just have the dialogue here. So she says she doesn't want to follow it. Why? Why? What is she thinking about here? I think it's how I... And then she just stops and we don't hear from Pyrrha. We go back to Hannah. This is what I'm talking about when you want to interpret your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You need description. You need emotion. What we've got so far to work with is just a statement without context.
All right. Yeah, so like I said, so, and then there was the hint, which, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. The nostalgia and the elaboration, that's all good. Let's see if I have it. 5? No, 5 is next. If you want to take a look at that, can you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, if you guys want to, this is going to be the plot to chapter 5. Y'all guys have any questions or comments about it? I'll answer them. Wait for chapter 4, because like I said, chapter 4 is also done. Just need to do some polishing. So
When we find out what these princely duties are, we need to focus on for a bit. So it's not just Pyrrha we follow, we're also going to learn about what Thane's day-to-day life is.
I think I get what Gamer is trying to get at. About the thing about, he said about what, wanting to know what Pure is thinking, aside from just the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, give me 1 second. I'm gonna open a file. Let me see if I can find a part where we can use this as an example.
Any thoughts, Rocco? You've been quiet.
Oh, sorry.
Well, you did threaten to mute him, to be fair.
Well, I
Yeah,
just wanted the shouting to stop. Like, I didn't want him to
Alright,
stop completely.
Okay. I will try and give my thoughts as calmly as possible.
We can edit out this dead air, right?
You guys hear the gunshots too?
Yeah. No, my neighbors are being jackasses.
Oh.
God bless America.
Amen to that.
Hey, gotta have our First Amendment.
That's the Second Amendment.
Second.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so GWT, what exactly do you want me to give my thoughts on?
I mean, they're your thoughts. I'm just asking if you had any.
Well, looks pretty solid in my opinion. I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly good with giving my thoughts on other people's work.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from there. It takes a little bit of effort to go back and read someone else's.
Yeah, it's not easy being a critic. You gotta look for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
You just gotta accept that all of your friends will one day hate you for being honest. Then you can be a critic.
Unless you're a movie critic, then you just do whatever they pay you to say.
Or video game critic, that too.
Them two, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I'll be honest, not much I can say at the moment.
All right, well, that's fine.
Okay.
It's not because I'm drunk, I swear.
So,
No, I mean, it's fine. Like I said, it was just an outline. So
after GWT goes back and finishes editing, when can we anticipate seeing Chapter 3 being published?
Yeah, when?
When? This is 4. Well, if there's only that one thing that I have to work on, I can probably do it by tomorrow.
My personal recommendation is work on the spacing with some of these.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I think she said something about the spacing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, can't wait for Chapter 3.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 and 4 I can just do and then send them back, like, easily.
Okay. So to summarize tonight's podcast, we're all terrible people who talk over each other. We all have a variety of ideas, yet no ability to pay attention to each other's ideas. Though for some reason we're attempting to create a collaboration based on GWT's work.
Let's not forget our shit attention span.
And that, yes.
And my drunken antics, even though I'm not that drunk.
It makes you differentiated from the rest of us.
Yes, I'm different from you, bozos.
Makes you seem more eccentric.
So, would anyone like to announce any plans going forward of things happening in the near future relating to their fan fiction?
Oh boy.
I'm gonna actually get something done.
That is an ambitious plan, I've got to say.
Oh yeah, I've got so many planned you don't even know.
Are you
Can't
actually
even
gonna do it though?
Maybe.
Well,
I might do something this week.
I appreciate the honesty of that answer.
Yeah. Oh, I got so much coming up from Mountain Glen. Yeah.
I hope to publish a chapter, possibly 2. It's going to be great.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get maybe 1 or 2 more one-shots out of my system, and then I'm gonna focus solely on my main series.
Very good.
Oh yeah.
GWT, close us out.
Yeah.
Closing.